Well, I first became fascinated with the route because of the television show. It was called Route 66. I was a young kid then. I had a good buddy, and we watched it every week, and we idolized these two guys roaming around the country in their Corvette and having adventures and excitement.
I just loved it. I loved the feel of it. It feels like time traveling, and I'm looking at old signs, I'm looking at old service stations.
That whole nomad kind of lifestyle really appealed to us back then.
Black and white film in my camera, and I was off to the races. But
I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to get involved in the history of this road and exploring the road.
And just really liked that vibe, and just thought it was great.
And that's what started the whole thing. When I first started exploring the old pathways of the highway back in the early 1990s, there was a lot that was still undiscovered. So when I first started exploring, one of my goals was to find and document these old pathways, and I spent quite a few years doing that.
I was growing up in West Des Moines, Iowa. I always was attracted to vintage structures, buildings, neon signs. Then when I got into college, I started photographing some of that because I'm excited, and if I'm excited, I want to share that with people. So we ended up having all these shows, and it toured the country, the photography exhibition. And then I go to the opening of the one in Chicago Public Library, and I didn't know it, but they had these banners down the street that said, "Return to Route 66, photographs from the Mother Road by Shellee." And I'm like, my name's up there on that banner.
We met up with one of our longest and best roadie friends, looked over at me and he said, "What's your next project?" And I said, I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. And his one-word response to me was bridges. And I thought, what a great idea. And that's how the bridge book came about.
We were all going out to, I think, Kingman, Arizona. And she goes, "Hey, Jim Ross is gonna caravan with us." I'm like, great, I remember stopping at the Route 66 diner, and we're all sitting there, having a milkshake or whatever. I'm like, he's kind of nice, I remember at the end of the evening, and he gives me a hug, and I'm like, he's a nice guy. He's kind of a nice guy.
We share an office. We're kind of back to back, and but we've collaborated on, I think, 4 books, and it's just worked out great. We complement each other really well, and so it's really worked out well. Yeah.
Who was it who said, it may have been Suzanne Fitzgerald Wallace who said, "The Mother Road takes care of her own, and it brings people together."
I think it's important for the same reason that you have to keep stepping up if you're a firefighter. That's a national treasure and all that, but it takes people being involved to keep it going.
Documentation is so important because we're losing these things so frequently that any kind of documentation that you do, whether it's photography or writing, that it's really important. It's going to be more important later.
And we all understand that things change. Nothing lasts forever. But at the same time, you try to preserve what you can. And so it's been basically one project and one adventure after another, and it continues to go. It just keeps going.